Welcome to the Dave K Show. I'm David K. Jower, your host, and thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're watching live on Stickcam, the audio and video feed, or you are watching us on YouTube at a later date, or on Charter Cable Channel 8 at a later date, we are definitely glad to have you in our studio with us. Okay, we got a really good show tonight, and just want to let you know, for all the people that are listening live right now, our video feed is not working, but we are videotaping right now, and so you can hear us, but you cannot see us, but that is not a malfunction of your computer. So you'll be able to watch us on YouTube and also on Charter Cable 8 probably within about 1 week from now. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into our show. We're going to have some news stories coming up after this segment right here. We want to get Brother Russell Polar in to talk about a project that he's working on right now, and he's kind of pressed for time, so we're going to do about a 15-minute segment with Brother Russell Polar from Morganza. And so let's just get off to the bat, and let's welcome Brother Russell Polar. How you doing?
Good, fine, David. Thank you for having me.
Sure, it's a pleasure having you with us.
Yeah.
You got some good things going right now, and that's why we wanted to have you on our show tonight. And I'll tell you right now, you know, the education situation in Point Coupee can definitely be improved right now. And you served many years on the school board, and you did a great job on there, doing everything that you can to improve our quality of education in Point Coupee Parish, and I want to thank you. So, you know, in the meantime, since you've been very busy since you've been out of the school board, and we see that you're working on a special project here, and so we're gonna let you go and tell everybody about the project you're working on right now.
Yeah, David, thank you, and I really appreciate the kind words. I did 16 years on the school board, and one of the things that really troubled me a lot was I saw a lot of dropouts, and I saw kids that was social promoted that I just figured that they wasn't going to make it, and they were social promoted because the state said that the child has been detained in the class for so many years, and the age you have to move him up to a grade that is compatible with his age. And it troubled me for many years, and I wondered often about those children who were social promoted. Did they graduate from high school? Did they go on to get a career, you know, seeking through a Votech school, or did they go further into any kind of junior college or whatever? But I followed that for quite a while, and I started doing prison ministry about 15 years ago. And in the prison system, I ran into a lot of young men who were serving time, and I would all have an opportunity to talk with them. And I said, you know, tell me a little bit what's going on in your life. Did you finish school? You know, your parents still living. Who did you live with? A lot of them came from single parents. 80% of them that I talked to dropped out of high school at an early age. So I saw that there was, one of the things was that the educational background was not there. They didn't have that very much education, and they had no type of job skill training. So it bothered me so much that, you know, I really started praying and said, Lord, what can I do to reach out to help the children that are dropping out of school? What can we help out with the teen pregnant, with young ladies who are getting pregnant at a young age and dropping out of school because they have to take care of a child? And so we began to look at it, and we looked at several things, and a couple was, you know, their formal education. Was they involved in drugs? Was they brought up with a, you know, household where there was a mother and a father, or they came up with a single parent, a grandparent? And we looked at all these things, and we started putting together, and we was focused at one time was just trying to focus on doing a drug substance abuse center. And we was having a problem with getting a building to do that in, and after, you know, from one thing to trying to find a building and trying to get this off, and it seems like it just wasn't clicking. And I looked into it even in more detail, and I said, oh, I see it now. Some of the reason that some of these kids are actually failing is because it's not so much of drugs, but because they either dropped out of school at an early age, or they didn't get a very much education, and they was lack of literary skills. So we started to look at how can we work both of these parties. How can we help these kids who have a former drug problem? How can we help these young ladies who may got pregnant, who have 1 or 2 children, who wasn't able to finish their education? And how can we help these young men who dropped out of school that didn't get very much education? So we looked at a skills center. One of the things, the committee that we put together, looked at was we have to do it in a different setting from a regular school setting. If you didn't make it in a regular school setting, when we bring up the word school, Well, he would, in his mind, so, well, it's just another school.
Right.
So we came up with a skills center. And in this skills center, we're going to be looking at doing literary skills. If a child tested on the 4th or 5th grade, we are going to give him the opportunity to go as high as he so desires. With having the technology there to help him to do that. The other thing is trying to find out what is his interest. What would you like to become? What would you like to do? If it's a truck driving job, or a welding job, or a mechanic, or even someone who wants to do blueprint work, we will actually try to find out where his interests are.
Right.
And the good thing about this skills center that we looked at, the individual will be able to work at his own pace. We will test him as the day one, their interest, to find out what level he or she is at. And then we will start working with his literary skills, and once we're able to build up his literary skill, then we're going to start moving him towards, hey, what was your interest? What would you like to do? What would you like to become?
Right, because I'll interrupt you for a second, but I mean, we all have our skills and talents that God's provided us with, and even the most, say it's theoretically the most unsuccessful person out there, the lowest guy in the gutter, he does have special skills and talents that he possesses.
You're correct. I saw this firsthand. That you want me, I saw this. Yeah. I saw this firsthand. There was a young man who came home one day, and a friend of mine, and the child was only 14 years old. They had put him out of school that day. So I asked him what was going on, and I said, well, why are you not in school? And he told me that he had interrupted one of the class, and it was about his second or third time, so they put him out of school. So I was talking with his aunt, and I asked his aunt, would she give me a few minutes with him? So we began to sit down and discuss, some of the things that he was interested in, and I said, well, why you causing problems in school? And he said, well, everybody was calling him ignorant. And said he was retarded. And I said, wow. But no, you're not retarded. So I handed him my cell phone. And I said, tell me what you can do with this cell phone. And he took the cell phone and showed me about 4 or 5 different games on the telephone. And I said, well, you know something? I must be stupid because I can't do that.
Right.
But I don't have any interest of playing game with my phone. All I use the phone for is to call.
Right.
And to keep numbers in on the phone. And I asked his aunt, who he was living with, it was close to the end of the school year, to let me see his report card. And by the way, I asked him who showed him that, and he said he learned that on his own. So I said, well, how did you learn that? He said, well, I just played with it and kept playing. I said, well, do the same thing with your homework. Take an interest in it, because you took an interest in it, and you learned how to. I said, if you take an interest in homework, you can make A's and B's, and you won't have other kids calling you retarded or anybody else. But I saw his report card. And the child actually had failed everything except band, and he had an A in band.
Wow. All
A's. So it told me that he showed an interest in music. And I looked at it, I said, this guy here could be one of the greatest musicians here in Parker P. Parish.
That's correct.
And because now we have to build up on that skill that he's showing interest in and help him with his literary skills. One of the things they told me, I remember when I first went to school, and I came from the old school, they said the key thing was to teach a child how to read, do math, and writing. With the 3 components that had to be, they want you to learn. So if we can help this child to bring up his literary skill and help him to seek out the things that he's interested in and the thing that he would like to do, I think he can be successful, not only to himself, but in his community and his family.
Wow, that's great. That is excellent. That makes a lot of sense. Russell Polar, if you just joined us on Stickam Live, we have Mr. Russell Polar with us in the studio live, and he's discussing a program that he's developed called Winning the Battle Skill Center, and we're just discussing some components of the whole system and how it works and everything. Well, Brother Russell, you have isolated a problem. You saw a problem in the community, you've isolated it, and you've said, like, what can I do to help this problem? And you've developed this program right here. Maybe whoever's listening out there, either live right now or they go back and watch this video later on, and they say, hey, I want to get involved, I'm having some problems, how can I get involved with this system that you're offering?
Well, they can call me. If it's okay to give them a telephone number.
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm at area code 225-718-0739. The name of our organization is Winning the Battle. And I believe it is a battle because today, as we see our society today, that we're losing so many young people to the prison system. We're losing a lot of young people to drugs, and we're losing a lot of young people who were teen pregnant. And but if what we in need of right now, we are renovating a building. We have about 14 classrooms in that building. It's the old River Academy at Bachelor.
Yeah.
We have signed a lease agreement with the owner. So we are in the process of getting money and trying to raise the money so we can renovate this building. And then we're going to go in and set up the classroom. We're going to do everything based on computers.
Okay.
We can do the literary skill. We can do the GED prep. We are trying to work out with the Votech school where if we do the prep, we can send them over there to get tested and pass for their GED.
Right.
Also, with our planning, we hadn't met with the school board yet, but we would like to meet with the school board to work with the truancy problem they have, with the dropout problem that they are facing, also the expulsion and long-term suspension.
Right.
So we are willing to collaborate with other organizations that are willing to work with us to see can we fix this problem in Punker Peak.
Right.
So
It's a team effort by all means.
but yeah, they can reach us at area code 225-718-0739, and I'll be glad to meet with anyone or talk with them at any time.
And you have an email on here also. Is this
We have an email also. Yeah, let me give you my email address. My email address is polarg@bellsouth.net.
Okay. Very, very good. Okay, Russell Polar, we're going to wrap it up. We've got about 2 more minutes left in this segment right here. Is there any final thoughts you want to convey to the audience out there?
Well, I heard someone say one time said it takes a whole community to raise a family. And I think it takes the community involvement. If we want to see our school system grow, if we want to see our community to grow, then it takes all of us to get involved.
Right.
It's sad to say that, even though an individual is on drugs or strayed away and committed a crime and had to do time in prison or dropped out of school, that we shouldn't give that person up. Because I believe there's 2 things that work, and David, you and I talked before, just before the interview. I believe it's Christianity and education.
Absolutely.
I believe if a person give their life to the Lord Jesus Christ, God can work with that person and change. If he's educated, he can have the confidence and he'll have the ability to go out to do better for himself. I believe this old cliche, the more you know, the better you do. So
Simple but true.
It is simple but true. But we also are working with people that I don't think I mentioned this, David, we're working with the guys who are coming out of prison, who have been incarcerated, helping them also, because we're going to be doing an adult training at night also.
Let me ask you this real quick, particularly geared toward the people that are coming out of prison right now. No matter how long they might have been in prison, they're still coming back out from the prison population into the general population.
That's right.
Is it generally hard for them to get a job? Or
Yes, it is. It is very hard.
Are they required to let their employers know their background and everything? Or is there a law or anything? Or?
There are something on an application. If you fill out a job application, they will ask you, have you been incarcerated? Have you ever had a felony? Stuff like this. And when the last time you had a job, if he has been incarcerated for 7, 8 years, he has to fill something in that blank to say, well, why I've not been working in the last 7, 8 years. But if he comes back into the community, then I think it's one of our requirements. I think we help this young man or this young lady to try to come back so they can become a productive citizen.
Right.
Right. One of the things that I truly believe, David, is that if he comes out and he's willing to actually try, then we will be there to help him, assist him in every way we can to help him to become a productive citizen.
Right. So there is life after prison.
Yes,
everybody that's coming in,
yes.
No matter how, you might be in for 25 years, but you will get out one day if you're not in for life, and you're gonna have to enter the civilian.
One of the things also I didn't mention in the skill center we will be doing with adults is doing parenting skills.
Very good.
Yeah. We are setting up a curriculum that we can do parenting skill.
That is excellent. That's something that pretty much everybody nowadays needs to. I wish I would have had some parenting skills to classes when I started having kids.
I wouldn't have made so many mistakes.
Exactly right. Okay, Brother Russell Fuller, thank you so much for being with us on the show tonight.
David, thank you very much. I appreciate y'all having me again. Thank you very much.